Do you know that the most important answers to your questions are not in another self-help book, not in a therapist's advice, and not even in a guru's wisdom? They're right here, inside you. But there's one problem: you can't hear them. Imagine a radio receiver picking up hundreds of stations simultaneously. Noise, chaos, impossible to make out a single word. That's your mind right now. Notifications, calls, news, other people's opinions, endless internal dialogue. What if I told you there's a way to tune this receiver to one single frequency? The frequency of your inner voice. The voice that knows the answers to all your questions. Today we're diving into the power of silence. Not just the absence of sound, but a state of deep clarity where true wisdom is born. Ready to open the door to a world where all the answers are already waiting for you? Then stay with me until the end of this video. What you're about to learn will change your perspective on life forever. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. We live in an era where silence has become a luxury. Moreover, it has become something frightening. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in complete silence for at least 5 minutes? No music, no podcasts, no phone in your hands? For most people, the answer is depressing. I can't remember. We fill every second of our lives with noise. This is no accident. It's a defense mechanism. Because in silence, things we've been carefully avoiding start to surface. Unspoken emotions, unsolved problems, questions without answers. But here's the paradox. It's in this silence we fear so much that the greatest power lies hidden. Steve Jobs practiced meditation in hours of silence. He said that it was in moments of silence that his most revolutionary ideas came to him. Not in boardrooms, not in brainstorming sessions, but in the silence of his own consciousness. Oprah Winfrey starts every morning with 20 minutes of meditation. She claims this time gives her more clarity than hours of consultations with experts. What do they know that we don't? They understand that silence is not emptiness. It's a space where your inner voice can finally be heard. Let's figure out what this inner voice is. It's not mysticism and not esotericism. It's your intuition, your wisdom accumulated through experience. It's that part of you that knows the truth even when your logical mind is tangled in contradictions. Remember a moment when you felt something was off, maybe before an important decision, or when meeting a new person. Inside was a feeling of discomfort, but you couldn't explain why. Logically, everything looked perfect. But something whispered, "Stop." That was your inner voice. The problem is, we've learned to ignore it. We drown it out with logic, others' opinions, social expectations, and then we wonder why we end up in situations we could have avoided. Silence returns this connection to us. But how exactly does this work? Let's dive deeper. When you're in constant noise, physical or mental, your brain operates in survival mode. It reacts to stimuli, makes quick decisions, switches between tasks. This state is called sympathetic nervous system activation. In this state, access to deep wisdom is impossible. You're literally locked in the superficial layers of consciousness. Silence activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the mode of rest and restoration. This is where the magic happens. Your brain switches to a mode where deep reflection, creativity, and intuitive insights are possible. Neuroscientists call this state the default mode. This is when your brain isn't occupied with external tasks and can process information at a deeper level. It's in this mode that you find solutions to complex problems. Remember, how many times has the answer come to you in the shower, during a walk, or just before sleep? This is no coincidence. Now for practice. How do you learn to listen to your inner voice? First, create space for silence. I'm not talking about monastic seclusion. Start with 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes when you simply sit, no phone, no music, no book, just you in silence. At first, it will be uncomfortable. Your mind will start to rebel. It will bombard you with thoughts, worries, to-do lists. This is normal. Don't fight it. Just observe. Imagine your thoughts are clouds in the sky. They come and go, but you are the sky, not the clouds. You are the space in which they move. Second, ask questions in silence. Don't expect answers to come instantly. The inner voice doesn't shout, it whispers. And it can only be heard when everything else quiets down. Before entering silence, formulate a question, clearly and specifically. For example, what do I need to know about this situation? Or, what decision would be right for me? Then release the question. Don't try to find the answer by force. Just be in silence with an open heart and mind. The answer may not come immediately, sometimes the next day, sometimes in a week, but it will come in the form of a sudden insight, a feeling of rightness, or even an external sign. Third, keep a silence journal. After each practice, write down what came to you, thoughts, sensations, images. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns. You'll learn to distinguish the voice of fear from the voice of wisdom. The voice of fear is loud, panicky, demanding. It says must, should, what will people think? The voice of wisdom is quiet, calm, confident. It says, I know, this is right, trust. Fourth, practice presence in everyday life. Silence isn't only about meditation, it's about the quality of your presence in each moment. When you eat, feel the taste, texture, aroma. When you walk, feel how your feet touch the ground. When you listen to someone, listen, really, without planning a response in your head. This is the practice of inner silence amid life's noise. Let me share a real story. An acquaintance of mine, a successful entrepreneur, was on the verge of burnout. Business was thriving, but he felt empty. Every morning he woke up with anxiety, didn't understand what was wrong. He turned to coaches, psychologists, read dozens of books. Nothing helped. Until one day he found himself in the mountains, where due to bad weather, he got stuck in a cabin for 3 days. No internet, no connection, no entertainment. The first day was hell. The second, just hard. And on the third day, something broke. Silence became comfortable. And in this silence, he heard a voice that had been speaking for years but was drowned out by noise. The voice said, "This is not your path. You're building someone else's dream." He realized that the business he created was an attempt to prove something to his father. These weren't his values, not his passion. 6 months later, he sold the company and started doing what he truly loved. Today, he's happy. The answer was always inside. All that was needed was silence to hear it. Let's be honest. Many of you are now thinking, sounds wonderful, but I don't have time for silence. Kids, work, obligations. I understand. But let me ask, how much time do you spend scrolling social media, watching videos that add no value, worrying about things you can't control? It's not about time, it's about priorities. You can find 5 minutes before picking up your phone in the morning, during lunch break, before bed instead of scrolling. 5 minutes that can change the quality of your entire day. And here's what's interesting. The more you practice silence, the less time you need for decision-making, because you start acting from a place of clarity, not from chaos. You stop going in circles, doubting, asking everyone for advice. You simply know and act. This doesn't save hours. This saves years of life spent on wrong paths. Another important aspect, silence teaches you to distinguish your desires from those imposed from outside. How many goals are you pursuing because that's what's accepted? A big house, an expensive car, a prestigious job? But what does your heart want? In silence, you begin to hear the difference. And this can be frightening because sometimes your heart wants something completely different. something simple, or something that requires courage to go against the current. But isn't it better to live your own life than a beautifully packaged version of others' expectations? Let's talk about the fears that arise in silence. This is normal. Silence exposes everything we hid under layers of distractions. Fear of loneliness, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, unfinished business from the past, pain we didn't want to feel. But here's the secret. When you meet these fears in silence, face to face, they lose power over you because you see them for what they are. Just thoughts, just emotions. They can't harm you if you don't run from them. Silence is not an escape from reality. It's a meeting with the deepest reality, with who you are beneath all the masks, roles, defense mechanisms. And yes, this requires courage, the greatest courage. Think about the great people of history. Buddha found enlightenment in the silence of meditation under the Bodhi tree. Jesus went to the desert for solitary prayer. Gandhi practiced a day of silence every week. They understood that true power is born not in action, but in the silence preceding right action. Modern research confirms ancient wisdom. The practice of mindfulness and meditation changes brain structure. Gray matter density increases in areas responsible for self-regulation, empathy, and decision-making. People who regularly practice silence show lower stress levels, better concentration, and higher life satisfaction. This is not esotericism. This is science. So how do you begin your journey into silence right now? Step 1. Right now, set aside 5 minutes in tomorrow's schedule. Not if there's time. Schedule it like an important meeting with the most important person in your life, yourself. Step 2. Find a place where you won't be disturbed. This could be a corner in your room, a park, even a car. The main thing, relative silence and solitude. Step 3. Sit comfortably, close your eyes. Start by observing your breath. Don't try to control it, just observe. Inhale, exhale. This is your anchor in the present moment. Step 4. When you notice you've gone into thoughts, and you will, and this is normal, just gently return to your breath without judgment, again and again. Step 5. At the end of practice, ask yourself, what do I need to know right now? And just listen. Don't wait for a voice from heaven. Pay attention to sensations, images, quiet thoughts. That's it. 5 minutes every day. This is less than one episode of a series, but the effect will be incomparably greater. Gradually, you'll notice changes. You'll become calmer in stressful situations, clearer in decision-making, more confident in your choices. And most importantly, you'll begin to feel a connection with something greater than your superficial mind. This won't happen in one day. It's a journey. But every step on this path brings you closer to a version of yourself that lives from a place of truth, not from a place of fear. Remember, the answers you're looking for in the external world already exist inside you. You don't need to create them. You only need to create silence to hear them. Your inner voice has always been speaking from the very beginning. It knows your path. It knows your values. It knows what will make you truly happy. All you need to do is stop, slow down, and listen. In a world that constantly screams, demands your attention, pulls you in different directions, silence is rebellion. It's an act of supreme courage. Because in silence you meet truth, and truth demands change. But these changes lead to the life you truly want to live, to your authentic self, to clarity that cuts through all the fog of uncertainty. Silence is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of life in harmony with yourself, where every decision resonates with your true nature, where you no longer doubt at every step because inside there's a compass that always points in the right direction. This compass is your inner voice, and silence is the way to tune it. So we've reached the end of this journey, but for you, it's only the beginning. Today you learn that silence is not emptiness, but a space of power, that your inner voice knows the answers you're looking for, and that all it takes is 5 minutes a day to hear it. Now the choice is yours. You can close this video and return to the noise, or you can take the first step toward clarity right now. I invite you to a challenge, 7 days of silence, 5 minutes every morning. Just try it and write in the comments what changed, what answers came, what clarity you gained. If this video resonated in your soul, hit the like button. This will show me that you value this kind of content. And if we gather 5,000 likes, I'll record a continuation where I'll share advanced practices for working with your inner voice. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss new videos about self-discovery, personal growth, and inner transformation. Remember, in a world full of noise, the most revolutionary thing you can do is stop and listen to silence. The answers are waiting there. Your real life is waiting there. See you in the next video. Go toward your clarity. It's closer than you think.